The grainy surveillance footage flickered on the detective's screen, showing a man in khaki shorts and a white shirt with green sleeves purchasing a pack of Benson & Hedges cigarettes at a gas station. His movements were casual, almost carefree, as if he hadn't just left a woman bleeding out in a parking lot. "That's not me," Donald Eugene Smith would later insist, staring at the footage with unyielding certainty. "That's my brother." But the DNA evidence was undeniable, pointing to a truth that seemed impossible. Identical twins, one crime, and a mystery that would unravel a family and shock a community. How could two men with the same face, the same DNA, leave detectives chasing shadows? And what did it mean for justice when the truth hinged on a cigarette butt and a brother's betrayal? This is a story for true crime enthusiasts who crave a puzzle that defies logic, a case that transforms our understanding of evidence and identity. Stay with us, because missing this tale means missing one of the most baffling investigations in Georgia's criminal history. Background and setup: in the quiet suburb of Duluth, Georgia, just outside Atlanta, July 18, 2008, started like any other summer evening. The Gwinnett Place Mall buzzed with Friday night energy, families dining at Red Lobster, shoppers lingering in the warm evening air. Janai Coleman, a 40-year-old elementary school teacher and adoptive mother of 3, was a fixture in this community. Known for her warm smile and unwavering kindness, she was the kind of person who lived quietly but left a lasting impact. Her routine was predictable. Every Friday, she parked her gold Dodge Stratus near the Red Lobster to pick up her daughter, who worked the evening shift. It was a ritual born of love, a small act of devotion in a life dedicated to her family and students. Janai's life was one of purpose. She had adopted 3 children, giving them a home filled with stability and care. Her classroom was a haven for young minds, where she taught not just academics but compassion. To her neighbors, she was a friend who stayed out of trouble, a church-going woman whose life seemed untouched by conflict. But that night, as she sat in her car, the familiar safety of her routine was about to shatter. Across town, 2 brothers, Donald and Ronald Smith, lived lives far removed from Janai's. Identical twins, born minutes apart, they shared the same face, the same DNA, and a bond that had weathered 50 years. But their paths had diverged. Donald had a criminal record, recently flagged for a drug conviction, while Ronald had managed to stay off the police's radar. Both lived in Gwinnett County, their lives intertwined with family ties and shared history. Yet, on that July evening, one of them, or perhaps both, would cross paths with Janai Coleman in a way that would change everything. The clock ticked toward 9 p.m. The parking lot near Gwinnett Place Mall was dimly lit, the hum of traffic a faint backdrop. Janai sat in her Dodge Stratus, scrolling through her phone or perhaps listening to the radio, waiting for her daughter's shift to end. The gas station across the street glowed under fluorescent lights, its convenience store a beacon for late-night shoppers. It was there, in the shadows, that a figure emerged. A man approached Janai's car, his steps deliberate. In his hand, a .357 Magnum gleamed, its weight a promise of violence. He tapped on her window, his voice low and commanding. "Get out of the car," he ordered. Janai froze, her heart pounding. Before she could respond, before she could even plead, a deafening crack split the night. The bullet tore through her chest, a searing pain that stole her breath. She had no time to scream, no time to fight. The man dragged her from the driver's seat, her body crumpling onto the pavement, blood pooling beneath her. He slid into the car, the engine roaring to life as he sped away, leaving Janai gasping for help. Witnesses nearby froze in horror. A bus driver, stationed near the lot, heard the gunshot and saw a man, described as a black male in khaki shorts and a white shirt with green sleeves, dragging Janai from her car before fleeing in the stolen vehicle. Another passerby rushed to Janai's side, her cries for help growing weaker. "She's still moving, she's alive," someone shouted into a 911 call, their voice trembling with urgency. Paramedics arrived, working frantically to stabilize her, but the damage was catastrophic. 10 minutes into surgery at a nearby hospital, Janai Coleman's heart stopped. A mother, a teacher, a friend, gone in an instant. The brutality of the act stunned the community. Why Janai? Was this a random carjacking, or something more personal? The violence felt too bold, too intimate, for a stranger's crime. As her family grieved, detectives vowed to find the monster responsible, unaware that the case would soon spiral into a labyrinth of doubt and deception. The investigation began with a sense of urgency. Duluth police descended on the crime scene, cordoning off the parking lot as forensic teams combed for evidence. The first lead came from the bus driver's eyewitness account: a black male, khaki shorts, white shirt with green sleeves. It was a start, but vague. Detectives turned to the gas station's CCTV footage, hoping for a clear image of the attacker. Frustratingly, the cameras didn't capture the murder itself, but they did show a man matching the witness's description entering the store twice. Once to buy an item, then to purchase a pack of Benson and Hedges light lung cigarettes. His face was clear, his movements unhurried. This was their suspect. The next breakthrough came on July 19, 2008, when Janai's gold Dodge Stratus was found abandoned in Forest Park, Clayton County, 30 miles from the crime scene. The car was towed to the crime lab, where analysts uncovered a critical clue: a cigarette butt wedged under the driver's seat. Janai didn't smoke, her family confirmed. This cigarette, Benson and Hedges, the same brand seen in the surveillance footage, could belong to the killer. If DNA could be extracted, it might crack the case wide open. Forensic teams worked meticulously, but the initial results were discouraging. Fingerprints from the car yielded no matches in the system. The DNA from the cigarette butt also drew a blank. The suspect was a ghost, leaving detectives with a mountain of evidence but no name. They released the gas station footage to the public, hoping someone would recognize the man in the white shirt with green sleeves. Months passed, then years. By February 2010, the case had gone cold, a lingering wound for Janai's family. Then, a breakthrough. The combined DNA index system, CODIS, pinged with a match. The cigarette butt's DNA linked to Donald Eugene Smith, a 50-year-old man with a recent drug conviction. The surveillance footage matched his description perfectly: same build, same clothing. Detectives obtained a court order and arrested Donald on February 3, 2010, nearly 2 years after Janai's murder. They were confident they had their man. The evidence was overwhelming: DNA, video, witness descriptions. All that was left was a confession. But when detectives sat Donald down, his response turned the case upside down. "That's not me," he said, staring at the surveillance footage. "I've never been in that car. I don't own a shirt like that." His denial was unshakable, even as detectives pressed him. "Your DNA was in the car, Donald. How do you explain that?" He leaned back, calm but resolute. "That's interesting, because my DNA couldn't have been in that car. I've never seen that woman. That's my brother's phone number. My twin brother, Ronald." The room fell silent. Identical twins. Identical DNA. Detectives were stunned. Was Donald lying to save himself, or was there truth to his claim? Identical twins share nearly indistinguishable DNA, a rare complication in forensic science. The cigarette butt could implicate either brother. The detectives pushed harder, showing Donald the footage again. "That's not me," he repeated. "That's Ronald." To test his story, they ran a polygraph. Donald failed, his answers showing signs of deception. But his demeanor didn't waver. He insisted Ronald was the man in the video. Detectives brought in the twins' family, sister, mother, father, to view the footage. To their shock, all identified Ronald, not Donald, as the man in the white shirt with green sleeves. Another clue emerged during a smoke break. Donald hand-rolled his cigarettes, a stark contrast to the Benson and Hedges found in Janai's car. The focus shifted. Ronald, who had no criminal record, became the new prime suspect. But he wasn't easy to find. He dodged police, hiding at his parents' home until February 5, 2010, when he was finally arrested. In the interrogation room, Ronald was restless, his eyes darting. Detectives read him his rights, but he stalled. "Just give me a minute," he said, his voice shaky. They tried a new tactic, bringing Donald in to confront him. The brothers sat feet apart, the air thick with tension. Donald pleaded, "Tell them, Ronald. Tell them what happened." But Ronald refused to speak, his emotions raw. Detectives leaned on the Reed interrogation technique, suggesting the shooting was an accident to coax a confession. Ronald broke, his voice trembling. "It was an accident. A hair trigger. I didn't mean to shoot her." He described approaching Janai's car, intending to steal it. The gun, he claimed, went off unexpectedly, a result of its sensitive trigger. He denied dragging her out, insisting she stumbled from the car herself, crying for help. Panicked, he drove off, abandoning the vehicle in Forest Park. The cigarette butt? His, left carelessly under the seat. The detectives had their confession, but was it the full truth? Outcome and aftermath. Ronald Smith's confession seemed to seal the case, but the courtroom would tell a different story. When he took the stand, Ronald did a complete reversal. He claimed it was Donald who killed Janai, and he had only helped cover it up. The jury wasn't convinced. The evidence, DNA, surveillance footage, witness descriptions, and Ronald's own confession, pointed squarely at him. The cigarette butt, the matching clothing, the timeline of his movements in Forest Park, it all aligned. Ronald's attempt to shift blame to his twin felt like a desperate ploy. On the strength of the evidence, Ronald Smith was found guilty of Janai Coleman's murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, plus an additional 25 years for related charges. Donald was released, his name cleared, though the ordeal left a permanent strain on the brothers' relationship. The Coleman family, devastated by Janai's loss, found little solace in the verdict. "We just wanted to know why," her cousin, a deacon, told detectives. "She was a good woman. She didn't deserve this." The case sent ripples through Duluth. Janai's death exposed the fragility of routine, the way a single moment could unravel a life. Media coverage highlighted the rare challenge of identical twin DNA, sparking debates about forensic reliability. For the community, it was a reminder that even quiet suburbs weren't immune to violence. Janai's legacy lived on in her children and students, but her absence left a void that no verdict could fill. Closing reflection. The murder of Janai Coleman is a haunting reminder that truth can be as elusive as a shadow, especially when it hides behind identical faces. Two brothers, one crime, and a question that lingers. What drives a man to destroy a stranger's life? Janai's story isn't just about loss, it's about the relentless pursuit of justice, even when the evidence blurs and the heart breaks. In the end, her memory endures, a testament to a life well lived, cut short by a moment of chaos.